Hi everyone, I'm Grahtles, and welcome to a new episode of City Skylines. This is New Brighton, and the last time we left off, we put in this new big high-density city, and today we're going to start our zoo. So if you're new to my channel and you don't know what we're all about, we do City Skylines, I do tips, tricks, let's plays, and I do a couple of other games as well. But let's go ahead and get into this and start working on our zoo. Alright, so let's get started. So the first thing we have to do is go into Parklife and grab a main gate from the zoo area and then place it where we want our main gate. Now you could have other gates because we're going to add 2 side gates, but you have to do the main gate first. Next, you have to go ahead and paint the area using the spot they give you. And we just go along the road here. Sometimes it snaps, sometimes it doesn't. Usually it goes off the road, but I try to keep it on there as best as possible. And I just continue to run the paint around the area. And I go down by the water as well, because we do have a water attraction and I want to make sure it catches it. So next we're going to grab our side gates and we're going to place them a little further away from the main gate, obviously. So here we're going to put it across here. I think the metro station is over here as well by the front gate, and then we're going to place one down over here. Eventually I'd like to put a bridge across the water there, and this way they can come right from the other side over the bridge and come to the side gate right there. Here I wanted to put a crosswalk in, so I just clip the road there, hit the edge there, and hit the edge there, and then I place a different type of road so I get the crosswalk there. So next we have to go in and grab our paths, and you get 2 to choose from. One has trees, one doesn't. So I always use the one with trees, it's just more decorative. So here I'm just making like a square for a center of the zoo to add plazas and cafes and restrooms, kind of like a little meeting place, right center of the zoo area itself. And I will add, I think, 2 small attractions, I think the birds and the insects later on. So here I am placing the cafe across from the plaza, and now I'm placing a souvenir shop by the exit. Figure everybody can pick up a souvenir as they leave. And I put a restroom next to the cafe. I think that's practical. So next we're going to start placing attractions. I think we opened up 3. So here I'm just trying to find the right placement to put this particular attraction, and it's sometimes difficult to figure out how you're going to place your attractions because they're all different sizes, and as you go through making your zoo, or any park that is, you don't know the size of the attractions, and so you end up having to make small adjustments later on. So right now I'm just trying to find a decent placement for it for now, and eventually it may get moved, even just slightly, because other attractions could be extremely large and extremely small. So here we have the bird attraction, and I thought this would be a good place to put it right at the entrance of the gate. This way people have a small attraction to see when they first come in. Next we place the antelope enclosure, and this attraction happens to be quite small, so it fit nice in its space right there. So next I go ahead into the paths, and I have to connect up, I believe it's the bison attraction. I'm not quite sure, but we have to connect that to some roads. So next we just have to connect the side gates up to the main area of the park, so everything is connected. And I did use the wrong path, so that was easily upgraded. Finally, we just go into fences and we fence in the whole area of the zoo. And it was quite easy, it snaps together quite nicely as long as your roads are even. So next we go down to the side gates and add a few things over in there. I think I add a souvenir shop, and I put another souvenir shop over in here. I didn't like the curved area here, so I kind of changed it up. I delete the road and put it in a little straighter, and this way I can put the souvenir shop flat against the side where the entrance is. And next I just add a restroom on the other side, and I believe I go ahead and do the same thing on this area here. I just extend this pathway here and add the restroom. So now I just go down and I start making a whole bunch of pathways. Some of these may get deleted later on, I know that, but I just wanted to fill it in and just get an idea of the space. This kind of helps to figure out how I want to set up the park a little bit. I mean, again, I know the attractions are all different sizes, but it does help you to lay out at least some kind of form in the space that you are working in. You never know also if the space you have created is going to be large enough for the attractions you have. So you always have to be careful about space. So I always try to leave more space than less. So this way I can always double up on attractions, but I can't add more space if I don't have it, if that makes sense. Okay, so our park leveled up and we're ready to put in the insects and the bison. So I guess I was wrong in the first section. We did not get bisons. I'll have to figure out what we did get because I'm not quite sure. So now I'm just looking for the insects building, and it is a building. It's not outside, it's enclosed, and I do place it by the side gate here. And then I go ahead and find the bisons, and I'm trying to figure out how I want to fit this in over in this area. And so I do have to break the paths and add it because a lot of these attractions have their own paths. So you can break the path, line it up, and sometimes it's a little hard to line up, but once you get it in, you can kind of curve it in if you have to. So in this next bit, I'm just decorating the park. I'm adding all the different signs. Now they have large signs, small signs, and I'm just placing them at the entrances of the park. And here I'm using the tiles just to add a little bit more into the center of the plaza area that we created right in the middle of the park. And I add a couple of picnic tables, and I just kind of decorate it to make it look really nice. Later on we'll be adding a lot of trees and stuff like that, but again I'm just going to the cross paths and adding the little signs that have which direction to go to in your park. And here I just give you a little overview of what we did. So our park leveled up to level 3, and we now have the sea life enclosure, the flamingos, and the elephants. So here I'm just going through the assets and I'm trying to see pretty much the size of the elephant and the flamingo. The sea life doesn't matter too much because it is going on the edge into the water, and I fit that in quite nicely. And the next thing I think I put in is the elephants, and this one is a little bit larger than some of them, but pretty much on the same scale. It's, I think, longer and narrower, so we put that in down there. And the flamingos we end up putting right in this area by the side gate. I do break the path here and I fit it in because I think it has its own walking path as well, and I'm just trying to find the best spot to put it so I can run the paths through. And I decide that this would be great because I could connect it right to the front and then connect the back end as well. And this does have a lot of nice pathways. So yeah, that worked out quite good. So now our park leveled up to level 4, and we did get the giraffes and the monkeys. So now I'm just going through the assets looking for them, and I'm just figuring the best place to add them. So the giraffes is a big enclosure, so I'm just going to put the monkeys by the side gate there and put the giraffes kind of centered in here. It took a little bit to get it centered, but once I did, I connected it right to the corners there. And then I sneak a path right through in there and connect it there. So next I go ahead and I start filling in a little bit more with the plazas and the cafes. We have some room I know we have a little extra room because we only have 2 more assets to open up when we hit level 5. So I decided that a plaza and a cafe on the side entrances would work just as well. Just because you're gonna have people coming in, they might be thirsty as soon as they come in, and they can grab a snack and a drink and sit down, and even before they leave they can do the same thing. So yeah, that's why I added them in those areas to fill it up nicely. So next I go down and make some minor adjustments to the paths, and I start decorating the area. We had to wait quite a long time to level up to level 5 because I think we have to go from like 5,000 to 10,000 new citizens coming into the park. And so I just start decorating with a whole bunch of trees. I really wanted this to be a nice foresty looking area and just a lot of green space. We are in the city, so I think it looks nice. And yeah, I just continue to do all these trees, and that took quite a long time just filling them in. But when it is done, the end results look amazing. So yeah, stay tuned to the end so you can see the final results, and wait until we level up to level 5. And we did it. We finally hit level 5, and we got the rhino and the lion enclosure. So this will complete our park. So it was super exciting. It took a long time to get here. So now I'm just going through the assets looking for the perfect place to put these. And yeah, we had this nice space right in here. So I just go ahead and I attach this with the walking paths, and I come around and come through, and it looks so good. I have a little bit of space over in this area by the sea, and I end up adding, I believe, another cafe and plaza down in there. And I just fill up the rest of this with the trees, and it looks so lush. I mean, the nice bright dark green trees in here look amazing. Now I did notice there was a space between there, so I attached it better to the path, and then I just continued to fill out all this nice space in here with these green trees. Here's where I add in, I believe, the cafe, a restroom, and a plaza. And I did have to move the cafe down to fit the plaza in there, but yeah, now that it overlooks the water there, so it looks just really, really good. So now I come in and I just give you an overview of the zoo itself right from the main gate. This is the size of it and the shape, and we just come through and look around, and I really enjoyed making this episode. I tried to add a little time lapse with a little bit of regular speed because I needed it to push through a little faster, because it gets a little boring when you're sitting there watching me go through so many things. But yeah, I really do hope you liked this episode. I really did enjoy it. It's one of the nicer zoos I've made, just filling in the space with all these trees and making it feel like a real nice place to go. So if you like my content, would like to see more, please click the like button, subscribe, comment, share. It really does help me to make more content like this. And yeah, so I will definitely leave you off here, and I'll see you soon. Bye.